Hello viewer, if you've clicked on this video you probably already know what AimPoint is, but in case you don't know, it's a way of measuring the break of a green, so how far left or right of a hole to aim, using just your feet and your hands. You'll see people doing this on tour like Dustin Johnson and Justin Rose, and it just enables you to be very consistent with how far left or right you're going. So let's head down to the first hole and I'll show you how it's done. Okay, so there are three main stages to AimPoint. The first of which, getting the break of your putt. So you'll come up a few paces past the ball and just get your initial reading. So for me, I can feel the ground sloping left to right about 1 degree, and I'll talk to you about what that means in the next part. Then I'll come another few paces up about halfway, get another read. So for me, that's pretty much level there. So you take your highest reading, so that'd be a 1 off the start. I'll then come behind the ball, getting a consistent distance from the ball, so I just come 1 pace back. I'll hold my finger up. I'll put the right side of my finger in the middle of the cup because I know I'm going to be aiming left because it's a left to right putt. So I'll put the right side of my finger in the middle and I'll aim at the left point of my finger. Now I'll show you on screen what that means. So for me here, I'm just going to be aiming behind that tree in the distance, and then we're just going to hit the putt. The third stage being pacing, which is another one you'll have to just practice on the green before you go out. The basic idea being that you then line up to your ball, and it might not go in over this distance, but we're at least going to get it close. Now that did just start breaking at the end there. I've obviously played it a little bit short, but if that had kept rolling on, that's in the hole, and we've secured that now for a nice 2-putt. Stage 1 of AimPoint then, which is by far the most important step, getting the read of the green. So the actual feeling of the different degrees. So degrees refer to how tilted a green is, how much it's going to break. So a 1 is the least amount of break, and I suppose a 10, which would be impressive to hold 10 fingers up, is the most amount of break. So what you can do is position yourself a set distance from the hole. So here I've got maybe 15 feet, 10 feet, something like that. I would get a few balls. Obviously I've just got the one here because I'm actually playing, but just get a few balls and position yourself about this far away. Then take a few steps after the ball, 1 or 2. Just make sure it's the same every time, 1 or 2, don't do 1 or 2. And just position your feet like this, and everybody can feel the tilt. So I can feel this is very much a right to left. I would say this feels fairly severe, so it's about a 3. Now because I know it's right to left and about a 3, I'm going to tilt myself slightly away because I know I'm going to set the ball off to the right. I'm going to take another few steps till I'm about halfway and get another read. I would say now that's about a 4. Now that means that's more severe than the start, and you take the higher number, so I'm going to go with 4 fingers on this hole. Now this is something that comes from pure practice. You cannot just be told the feeling, you know, it doesn't make any sense to be told a feeling. So you just do it over and over again. So I've guessed, or I know, ideally this is about a 4. So again, I'm going to come a step back from the ball. I'm going to hold 4 fingers up, and because I know it's right to left, I'll use my right hand. I'm going to position this part of my finger in the middle of the cup. And then looking at my furthest right finger, so I've got 4 fingers up, which would be my pinky, and on the right edge of it, I've now got my target line, which is about the center of that bunker in the distance there. So if I show you just from my perspective, so you can see here, I'm a step back from the ball, I've got 4 fingers up, and I'm holding them like that. And you can see my pinky finger is actually on the right edge of that bunker over there. So I know that's where I'm going to aim. Now I know the pace of this putt because I've played here hundreds of times, but when you're practicing, obviously find a putt you can find the pace of where you're about a foot past the hole every single time, so you get a nice consistent way of measuring that break, so it's just one variable. So I'm aiming at the right edge of the bunker in the distance. I'm giving myself a nice practice stroke. This is just putting basics. Well, that one went quite well. But ideally I actually wanted to miss that. So if I'd have missed right, I'd have known the slope was not as severe as I thought, so it might have actually been a 3. And if I'd have missed left, I know that it's more severe than I thought, so it might have been a 5. So you just repeat that process on different putts of different slopes. So find yourself a flat putt, learn what that feels like. A 1 is a hard one to tell because it's so slight. Just find yourself the same putts and repeat over and over and over again until you can build that feeling. Stage 2 then is one that's very, very simple to explain. I imagine it's going to take at maximum a minute in the video. So with the fingers, you may be thinking, as I get further away from the hole, am I going to have to increase the number of fingers because the ball will be breaking for longer? But lucky for us, and lucky for every golfer anywhere, there's an odd quirk of, I don't know if it's physics or what it is, but from here, your finger in the middle of the cup will show you a break that is matching to the distance you are, so it will break that slight amount. Now as I come away, my finger will grow in comparison to the hole, and just by convenience, maybe there's a Lord above, when you put your finger up again, it will match the amount more it will break. So just so you can see here, I'm aiming about, I don't know, a cup's worth outside here with it in the centre, and as I back away, you can see my fingers growing relative to the hole, and now that I'm this far away, I'm aiming maybe 3 cups outside the hole, but that will exactly line up with how much more it'll break, meaning that you don't have to worry about increasing the number of fingers as you get further away. All you've got to do is worry about reading that initial putt, reading that break, and finding yourself the number of fingers you want to use. The final stage of AimPoint then is pacing. Now, pacing is important for any form of break reading, but just the best way to practice it is to position yourself a ball about 5 feet away from the hole, which fortunately is where my ball's landed, about 10 feet, and about 15 feet. And just hitting putts and trying to get them to stop a foot after the hole. Now the best way you can do this is to take a club. Now obviously this kind of invalidates my score, but we're just going to very gently put it down on this green. You want to be doing this on a practice green before every round of golf you play, because every green is going to roll differently, every course is different on any given day, and they're all going to break differently as well. So you want to do all of these steps really just before you go out. But I'll just miss the hole here on purpose, I swear. And we're just trying to put the ball in between the hole and the club and make sure we're getting our pacing just right for the day. And like that, perfect. 3 of them from every position, just to get yourself warmed up and to get yourself ready to get a new best score. If you have enjoyed, please do leave a comment, add anything additional you think I might have missed as well. And yeah, like and subscribe. Thanks. I will get some actual course vlogs out next week, I promise. If you can't tell, the weather is appalling, so we're lucky we're even on the course today. How far can I hit this tee? I'm gonna go get that. Like, subscribe.